Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson. Today we're going to talk about les pronoms d'objet et les pronoms compléments. Alors, the first two pronouns, I and en, we have been talking about these two for the last few days. We have done a lot of practice in class also. So I'm going to show you some examples and then start talking about the rest of the pronouns, les pronoms compléments, le, la, les, elle apostrophe, lui, and leur. So let's take a look at some examples with I and en. Alors, les pronoms I and en are called pronoms d'objet. So these pronouns, the first one, I, is used, as you guys know, to replace a noun, a nom, or a group of nouns, un groupe nominal. And this is usually preceded by one of these keywords here, highlighted in yellow, a, au, à la, au, chez, en, etc. So an example here, elle va en Espagne, and we have replaced en Espagne by the pronoun en, elle y va. So you can see y goes before the verb. And then the next example, je vais à la plage. I'm going to replace à la plage by a pronoun. Again, I'm going to use y, so j'y vais. And y, the pronoun, is placed before the verb also. In the last example, nous allons à l'école. We go to school. So I'm going to replace à l'école by en. And as you can see, it is here also placed before the verb. Nous y allons. And then we also talked about le pronom en, which is also used to replace a noun, un nom, ou un groupe nominal, a group of nouns. And usually these were a group of nouns start with the keywords highlighted in yellow here. De la, du, des, un, or deux, trois, quelques, plusieurs, etc. Let's take a look at some examples. Okay, first example, elle a mangé la plupart du gâteau. She ate most of the cake. So I'm going to replace this phrase, la plupart du gâteau, by the pronoun en. So here it is, elle en a mangé la plupart. Now, en replaces du gâteau, and then la plupart indicates how much cake she had. In this case, la plupart, most of the cake. So not only I have replaced en, du gâteau, by the pronoun en, but I also kept the expression of quantity that indicates how much cake. So elle a mangé la plupart. Elle en a mangé la plupart. Next example, nous avons acheté quelques livres. We bought a few books. So I'm going to replace livre by en. Nous en avons acheté. And I also need to use or keep the expression of quantity that indicates how many books. In this case, quelques, few. So nous avons acheté quelques-uns. Example number 3, ils ont visité plusieurs villes européennes. Here they have visited several European cities. So again, I'm going to replace ville européenne by the pronoun en and keep the expression of quantity that indicates how many towns. So that would be plusieurs, several. Ils en ont visité plusieurs. And notice that the expression of quantity in the first three examples is always placed at the end of the sentence. And the pronoun goes right before the verb. Elle en a mangé, nous en avons acheté, and ils en ont visité. In the last example, j'ai bu du café au lait. I had some coffee with milk. I'm going to replace du café au lait by the pronoun en, and this is what it looks like. J'en ai bu. Now here I didn't say how much coffee, so there is no expression of quantity. J'en ai bu, d'accord? Alright, next. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the other pronouns that we haven't seen yet. These are called les pronoms compléments. Pronoms compléments, and they are le, la, les, or elle apostrophe. Elle apostrophe, pardon. is used when there's a vowel that follows immediately. So here they are. Les pronoms le, la, les are also used to replace nouns or groups of nouns, and that they start with the following keywords: le, la, les, elle, apostrophe, ce or cette or c'est, mes, mon or mes. So here's an example. J'envoie cette lettre. Cette is a demonstrative adjective that indicates reflects the letter, which is a feminine noun. Alors, j'envoie cette lettre. I send this letter. I'm going to replace cette lettre by le pronom la, because lettre is feminine. I need to replace it with a feminine pronoun. However, because I have a verb that starts with a vowel here, a vowel, la, ends with vowel, and my verb starts with vowel, so I have to make sure that the la becomes apostrophe L. Je l'envoie. Next example, je prends mes livres. I take my books. This is a plural noun, d'accord? So what pronoun do I need to use to replace my books? Of course, I'm going to use les, which is also a plural pronoun. So it looks like this. Je les prends. I take them. And notice the pronouns are still before the verb. In the last example, je ne connais pas ce monsieur. I do not know this man. Ce monsieur is a masculine noun, so I need to use a masculine pronoun to replace it. And it looks like this. Je ne le connais pas. I don't know him. And le also here is placed before the verb. Okay, now pay attention to passé composé. When a sentence is in the past, you need to know where to place the pronoun and what happens to the past participle. So here I have j'ai fait mes devoirs. I did my homework. Mes devoirs is a plural noun, so I need to use a plural pronoun to replace it. So that would be les. Je les ai fait. Now notice fait is a past participle and it takes an s. The reason why it takes an s is because mes devoirs is a plural noun, so the past participle has to agree with the noun that it refers to. In the second example, elle a lavé la voiture, she washed the car. La voiture is a feminine noun, so I need to replace it by a feminine pronoun, la. But here again, I have a verb that's a vowel, so I need to get rid of that first vowel and replace it by apostrophe. Elle l'a lavé. The past participle takes an extra E. So why? Because la voiture is féminin. And remember what I said earlier, that the past participle has to agree with the noun that it is referring to. So pluriel takes an S. Feminine takes an extra E. In this next example, nous avons pris la vieille route. We took the old road. So I'm going to replace la vieille route by the pronoun la, but here I have to use apostrophe again. And prise also takes an E because vieille route is a feminine noun again. And in the last example, elle a oublié ses clés. She forgot her keys. And when I replace ses clés, I need les because that's a plural. Elle les a oubliés, and my past participle here, oublié, takes an S again because the noun that it is referring to is pluriel. Bon, now we're going to talk about lui and leur. So lui and leur means her or him, leur means them, and these usually replace un complément d'objet direct, an indirect object. For example, je rends visite à mes cousins, I visit my cousins, so I'm going to replace mes cousins. I need to use leur because this is a plural noun. Je leur rends visite. And then, tu voyages avec Pierre, you travel with Pierre. I'm going to use lui because that's Pierre. Once it's a singular noun. Tu voyages avec lui. And then, nous avons téléphoné aux voisins. We call the neighbors. This is a plural noun, so I need to use leur. Nous leur avons téléphoné. And again, the pronouns are placed before the verb for example 1 and example 3. Now, there is an exception to every rule in grammar. We already know this. So one exception is this one here. Je travaille pour mes parents. I work for my parents. So I do not, because this is here, I'm using direct object. I do not use leur, I use eux. Je travaille pour eux, d'accord? And then je pense à ma mère. I think about my mother. So it wouldn't be lui, it would be elle, because ma mère is a direct object. Je pense à elle. And then nous parlons de la voisine. We're talking about the neighbor. So again, la voisine is a feminine noun and it is a direct object. So I use elle. Nous parlons d'elle. Okay, now this chart here shows you what pronoun to use with what verb. So lui and leur always are used with these verbs because these verbs are used with an indirect object, d'accord? And then lui, elle, and eux are used with these verbs because these verbs are usually used to refer to a direct object, d'accord? So indirect, direct. Okay, here are some more examples with lui and leur. Alors, j'ai parlé au prof. I talked or spoke to the teacher. Je lui ai parlé, and lui refers to prof, so it's placed before the verb. And then tu as téléphoné à Sylvie. Tu lui as téléphoné, and lui refers to Sylvie, so it's also placed before the verb. Now, your job is, this is practice, the sentence 1 and 2, is for you guys to do at home. So what you're going to do is replace the highlighted words in yellow by the pronouns lui or leur. Il a demandé pardon à ses parents. And then the second sentence, nous avons parlé à nos amis. So this is your practice and we can go over it tomorrow in class. Okay, now what happens when we have a sentence that has more than one pronoun? It's called double pronoun, so we're going to follow the order of the noun in the original sentence. So take a look at the first one. Elle prête son CD à Pierre. She lends her CD to Pierre. D'accord? So son CD is replaced by le, and then Pierre is replaced by lui. Elle le lui prête. Do you notice that the order of the pronouns is exactly as the order of the nouns in the original sentence? Second example, nous écrivons la lettre au prof. We write a letter to the director, pardon. Alors, lettre is replaced by la, and then lui replaces directeur. Nous la lui écrivons. Next example, il a écrit le poème à sa copine. Le poème is replaced by le. Sa copine is replaced by lui. Il le lui a écrit, so the order is still the same. And then in the last example, tu donnes ton adresse au voisin. You give your address to the neighbors. Address is replaced by la, and neighbors is replaced by leur. Tu la leur donnes, and the order is exactly the same as in the original sentence. This is why I color-coded the words for you so you can see them. Now, this is your practice, so you're going to do this for homework. Your job is to replace the highlighted words or phrases with the pronouns that we talked about today. And so we only have 4 sentences to do for homework, and we can verify your answers tomorrow in class when I see you. And if you have any questions, don't forget to ask. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.